of life. But because I've used a couple of narratives from Scripture, as a man thinketh, so is he. So I have to regroup in my thinking, purify my own heart to want to make a change. Hate. I cannot hate the injustice that was brought about me, so I had to let that. I had to die to begin to love in my Father and understand it, to be able to overcome my obstacles in my path. So what I found going back and searching is that what I felt was injustice breeded a sense for me to fight for justice. Even as a child, I would fight for my friends that needed help, or I'd fight for the underdog and do other things. That mindset, that I could see now what it motivated me to do. That's just a pretty little example. Tonight, I got three components that's going to go on. I have this young man, Ryan Battle, speak to us a few words to motivate, to stimulate. I heard this young man speak the power of God. If his mother has the heart, she'll come up and tell his bio.
Sure. You can leave it right there. Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
All right. So I will just read his bio for you. Okay, so we have Ryan Elliott Battle. He is a young public servant and activist. He is in the 8th grade now. He'll be in the 8th grade when school starts. And he's a scholar. And he lives right here in Washington, D.C. He's an intern for Assembly Member Michael Blake, who is now the DNC Vice Chair. And it is in his internship that Assemblymember Michael Blake continuously teaches him firsthand what it means to serve and be a man of color. Ryan is also on the NASSP Student Leadership Advisory Committee, which is National Junior Honor Society, so he's the rep for the middle school nationwide. And he is the president of National Junior Honor Society at his school. And he was honored to become the representative for the NAN Youth Huddle. So he is the Northeast Region representative. Ryan is passionate about ensuring that he serves as a voice for the voiceless in his continuous fight against inequality, inequity, and injustice. He is an advocate for women's rights, Planned Parenthood, gun reform, voting rights, restoration and education, closing the achievement and technology gap in schools, quality education for minorities, cutting off the preschool to prison pipeline, making sure all children have good homes, equal pay for equal work, minimum wage to a living wage. I promise you he fights for all of this. The list goes on. So, affordable health care, child care, ending profiling and police brutality, improving community policing and reducing crime and poverty through education and empowerment initiatives in low-income areas. Ryan speaks to understanding that as citizens of the United States of America, all should be afforded not just civil rights, but also the right to prosper. He believes that through our individual actions, including voting, all have the power to give life or destroy it. It is through his activism and educating the big world around him that he always chooses to give. Because of his size, he is often underestimated, but he is determined not to be overlooked. He may be small, but he hopes that his large voice for justice and equality will one day ring loud for all. So it is my pleasure to introduce my baby, Ryan Battle. You might have to bend it the other way, son. Let me see.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, as my mom said, my name is Ryan Battle. I am the NAN Youth Huddle. I'm the Northeast Region representative for the NAN Youth Huddle. I'm an intern for the DNC Vice Chair, Assemblymember Michael Blake. and I'm going to 8th grade, and I am a scholar. Today, I want to talk to you about gentrification, but not of this place that was once called Chocolate City, but gentrification of our history, gentrification of our souls, gentrification of the mind. You see, our history surely didn't begin in the hoods of America. We are taught this to keep certain people comfortable and secure because we all know when greatness is naturally discovered in people of color, being put in chains, jail cells, and infesting our communities with drugs and guns is the only way we can be lived with. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Chains, intended to bind the great minds that created the pyramids. Just because they named it Pythagorean doesn't mean he developed the theorem. Okay. Drugs, guns, self-hatred, intended for us to kill the art, science, poetry, the genius that runs gold through our veins. In classrooms, stories are shared with us about how we used to be treated like we were nothing. Sold, beaten, and slaughtered like cattle. Sold, beaten, and slaughtered like cattle. And this was so that we would believe that we were just that, nothing. Walking all throughout our minds, clearing out all connections to greatness, power, and love. Setting up shops to sell weapons of defeat and oppression. Gentrification of the mind. You can't talk about stripping away and imprisoning our men and talk about our people being super predators without acknowledging the Zulu in all of us. A community that thrived on growth and prosperity of all their people. No gangs. Family, villages raising children, royalty, gentrification of our mind. Still don't get it? Okay, let me break it down some more. Let's talk about the ultimate gentrification of the mind. I asked my mom what would happen if people found out Jesus was really a man of color like me. She responded, "They know what color he is. It is us who don't acknowledge it." Gentrification of the mind. You see, we choose to ignore the obvious to keep things comfortable, especially if our own lives are not directly affected. We were never created to be alone. We were created as a village. A village. And not a gentrified one either. Malcolm X once said, "They put your mind right in the bag and take it wherever they want." When I think of this quote, I think of our long history of doing what the master says or hiding who we truly are so we don't upset master. Y'all know who master is.
Mm-hmm.
Master's like, I'm going to step on some toes with this one. Don't worry, they'll heal. Master's like the NFL. Who says to run this ball, keep your mouth shut and your brain on pause. Yes, pause. Trust me, as a middle schooler, I know what it's like to have your brain on pause. They want us to honor a song that celebrates our captivity of the body, soul, and mind. Don't be fooled by this flag right here. I have this flag on because this is my country. My ancestors built it. And I will never allow you to make a joke out of me in a song. Or make me feel like I don't belong. I don't know about you, but I think it's time we get our minds out of the bag. We are here tonight to change the narrative and get our minds out of the bag. see you tomorrow to continue this conversation and find out how. For tonight, though, I leave you with this. Think about how your mind has been gentrified. Think about how you contribute to keeping your mind in the bag. And while you are thinking about this, remember, you have the power to give life or destroy it. I choose to give. Thank you.
There's hope in our future. Okay, we're gonna take a break. There's some food I believe is ready. So you get your plate, get something to eat, and then we're gonna come back and we'll begin the program. Okay? There's some food down there. Continue.